Hey guys, thanks for coming back and seeing us here at Salty Ginger Talk. Glad to have you back. So today we're going to talk about things for men to understand, things men need to understand to attract women. And so we're going to speak in generalities here because generalities, stereotypes, whatever you want to call them, are true in a lot of instances. And there are stereotypical male things and stereotypical women things that, in most instances, hold true. Are there exceptions? Sure. Does it fit everybody? No. Does it fit the majority of our society? Yeah, it sure does. So, yeah, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with if you're not in the majority of things, that's fine. No big deal. This video isn't for you. Go do your thing. Be you. No problems. But with that said, one of the challenges we see in society today, there is, and I think a ton of this can be attributed back to, like we've talked about previously, our reliance as a society on devices and screens, cell phones, tablets, websites, DMs, texts, communicating without being in front of people and making physical contact and having face to face interactions with people. And you learn about human nature and you learn about how things work and don't work from those trial and error experiences. And a lot of that has gone away now. I shouldn't say gone away, but it's much less prevalent in our society. So it's a lot more common to meet people via text, right? Because there's less risk, but there's also less reward, the way I see it too. Um, and so, and I would also argue that kind of the push for equality and equity, call it equity because it's equity that's the problem. Equality is kind of a funny word, but equity means equal outcomes. That's horseshit. Like anyone that's arguing for that doesn't understand how the real world works and they don't understand how people work because you're not going to have equal outcomes. You can't mandate equal outcomes. You don't make everyone rich by stealing from rich people and giving it to poor people. Yeah, now we want to knock down barriers and give people equal opportunity at the trough. And some people need more help than others because their starting point is different than other people's starting points. Got it. Zero issues with that stuff. But equity, equal outcomes is stupid. Like it's socialism. It's dumb. It will never work. It's never worked before. It'll never work going forward. So it sounds great, but it's not real. It's fantasy. It's like chasing unicorns. So we got to get that out of our head. Um, but equality, men and women should have the same opportunities. If a woman wants to be whatever, she can be whatever, and like it's been that way for a long time. With that said, there's trade offs for those things, and what men want from women is not the same thing that women want from men. And if you want, as a woman, if you want a career to be high powered, to be important, that's fine. But you're going to limit the number of men that are attracted to you, and it's not because they hate you, or it's not because they're intimidated by you. It's because they want different qualities in a woman. It's great that that's what you want to be as a woman, and you go be you. That's fine, no problem. But lots of men aren't attracted to that. That's not what they're looking for because men don't want the same things out of women that women want from men. So today we're going to talk about this is directed to men to help them understand in general things that women are looking for, and will help men be successful in finding women to be partners with and have girlfriends and wives and start families. And we're seeing a lower birth rate in our country, and there's real ramifications for that, some of which are our social security system is built on the younger generation funding it so that the older generations that funded it in previous decades still have funds. And like the whole system was built on that. And that's one of the reasons why there's all this talk about social security going bankrupt is because there's more people consuming social security than are paying into it now. It's being spent at a higher rate than it's being replenished. So there's lots of reasons, and so those are some financial ones. But the personal ones are look at it's great to have a partner. My wife and I have been married 31 years, and I can't imagine my life without being married to my wife. It was a conscious choice. We found each other. We were fortunate to find each other very young in our lives. We were 21 and 19 when we got married. And, I had a legitimate shot at a baseball career, and I walked away from that and never have given it a second thought because look at what I've got. I've got a great wife. We've got three great kids. We've had decades together to build our life, and I regret nothing. I regret absolutely nothing. But I think we've lost sight of some of that, and so it's important. I don't think men have great role models now, and there's been this kind of push on toxic masculinity. Like I get it, men shouldn't be pushing you around or beating you or doing those things. Totally got it. I'm not supporting that. I don't condone it. Full throated support of none of those things being okay. Totally got it. With that said, there's something to be said for having tough guys around, for having people that can stand on a wall and stop people from coming in, that can take care of people. And that's typically been the role for men. And there's lots of reasons for that. And we can talk about some of that stuff. So, but let's start there. First, let's just there's men and women. Like that's all there is to it. They're different. You can argue that all you want. You can do all the word semantics and all the stuff that you want to do. It's just false. Everyone sees through it. Everyone knows you're full of shit when you say that stuff. It's not debatable that there's not a difference between men and women. Now, where people go wrong with that is they think one is better than the other. They think that because I say women are different than men, I think men are better than women. Not true. They're both very necessary. They both have very great qualities. They both lack in areas that the other one can bring support and make their lives better. And it's the complement between men and women, when done correctly, that really yields the best scenario. And I got zero issues with same-sex couples, same-sex marriages. That's awesome. If that's who you are, that's great. You got my full support. Zero issues with any of those things. With that said, that's a small percentage of our population in comparison to the overall population. And, we're playing to the wider audience here, and that is heterosexual relationships between men and women. And that's what we're talking about today. So, I don't understand why there's this push for men and women to be the same. My favorite thing about women is they're not men, they're women. Like, it's literally my favorite thing about my wife. She's a woman. And she's tough. I'll tell you right now, I've been in my share of scraps. I got no problem in physical confrontations. I'm not afraid of much. I would choose my wife over lots of men in a fight because she is tough. She's a scrapper, but she's feminine. She's a woman. She likes a lot of female things. Like you can, more than one thing can be true at the same time. And so this whole push to make us similar or make us equal is dumb. It's just stupid. I don't understand why people can't see the value in having two different types of people that make a team, a couple, a unit, and how strong that couple is if you get it right. With that said, we people we're animals. I know people don't like to admit that, but we're animals. Fine, we're cultured. I understand the religious argument and that we came from our creator, and that's fine. That's all fine. With that said, that doesn't change the fact that we have desires. We have instincts. We're wired to think a certain way, to behave a certain way, to be attracted by certain things. It's not a surprise that men like boobs. It's not a surprise that women like, in general, big, strong, tough guys. Like, that's generally what women are looking for. And that's okay. That's not all women. There's some women that are looking for different things, and that's okay too. But we're playing to the wider audience here. We're trying to help people be successful in developing and growing relationships. So, so let's dive into that. So, what are women looking for in a man? Look, I don't think this is that hard. What at the top of the list, from my perspective, is women want a man to make them feel safe and protected. And that doesn't mean you're a Neanderthal and she has to stay home and nobody can talk to her and she's betrothed to you so she can't talk to other men. And that's great. You want to move to Saudi Arabia. If that's how you want to work it, that's your thing. But she wants to know you've got her back. She wants to know that if something goes wrong or if things get hard or if there's a tough situation, you're going to step to the front and you're going to take control. That's what she wants. It's really not that hard to figure out. She also wants to know that you have enough confidence in yourself that when she is on her game and she's running the show and she's got good things going on, that you'll be right behind her, supporting her. And there's instances where each of those is the appropriate action for a man. But both of them help women feel safe and protected. And that's a big thing for women. Some men, like, I'll tell you right now, I've always been a big guy. I've rarely been in situations where I'm afraid for my physical safety. And women are all constantly afraid for their physical safety. And if she's got a man that she knows she can count on, that's a big part of it. That's a big part of it. Some of it's, if you make a bunch of money and can provide that, that's great too. But she wants to know that you're going to make things okay. She wants to know that when things get tough, you're going to step to the front and you're going to solve the problems and you're going to help get things to a better place. That's what she's looking for. Um, Confidence. I can't stress enough how important confidence is. And confidence isn't bravado. Confidence isn't all these jackasses that you see running their mouth in public. And I think to me, that's part of one of the problems in our society is that, look, I'm not advocating for violence. With that said, I'm 52. When I grew up, if two guys had a scrap, they would have a scrap. You'd set it up. There'd be whatever. Tim and Jeff are going to fight behind the gym. Al and Steve are going to fight at the football game. Whatever the case may be, they'd fight. Somebody would win. Somebody would lose. There weren't weapons. There weren't guns. No, the police didn't get called. You settled your differences. You shook hands and you moved on. And that doesn't happen anymore because we've got keyboard warriors out there and people that can run their mouth, and we've stopped that kind of instant people having instant consequences for being a jerk or being a douchebag. Have kind of gone away, and that's why you see more jerks and more douchebags. That's how we used to keep them in line. Is if someone stepped up and got out of line, other men would step up and kind of smack them down and say, "That's enough of that shit. You're not going to get away with that. At least not while I'm here." But just having the confidence to deal with situations, and you're not always going to know what to do. You're not always going to know how to handle a situation, but you should always step to the front and try to be a leader and pull in the right resources or support your partner. If they know how to handle things, they want to know that you've got the confidence to support them. So confidence, can't stress that one enough. Sense of humor, right? So who doesn't like to laugh? It releases endorphins in your body. It makes you feel good. It's a sign of intelligence. It's a sign that you can communicate with and influence other people to get what you want. Sense of humor is key, and people have different senses of humor. Some people think, like, I'm a really dark humor guy. Like that makes I love dark humor, which I would add. A study after study have shown people who love dark humor are generally very intelligent. So yay me. But with that said, like, what did Kermit the Frog say at Jim Henson's funeral? Absolutely nothing. Like, I think that's a good joke. I think that's a good joke. I know it's dark, but I find those types of things funny. And not everybody does, and that's okay. But if you have a sense of humor, you'll attract people that have and enjoy your sense of humor as well. Um, Respect. You've got to show respect to your partner and to women in general. Don't be a creeper and talk about their physical attributes or rate them or judge them. Like, who are you to rate them or judge them? And look, respect is they want to know that your intentions are good and you value them for more than just their physical being or the things that they provide you. They want to know that you care about them as a person. They want to know that you care about their feelings. They want to know that you want to support them and you want them to be happy and successful. That doesn't mean, look, you can have, a very robust, aggressive, fun, physical relationship with your partner as well. And women like that. A lot of women like that. The number one fantasy out there is a rape fantasy, which is really about control. They don't want to be raped, not what I'm saying, but they want someone to take control and kind of push the issue with them and make them feel like, they're wanted so bad that they just can't say no, and they want to be with you, right? So that respect doesn't mean being a beta, simp, a pussy. That's not respect. In fact, you won't get respect if you do that. A woman wants to know you have backbone and will stand up and advocate for yourself, and you're not going to take shit off of anybody, including her. So that's a big important part. But you got to walk that line between making sure she knows that you care about her and want good things for her and being a leader, because that's what they're looking for. A good work ethic. That's important. Too often I see guys that are willing to sit around and play video games all day, or I don't want to work, or oh my gosh, I work 40 hours this week. It's so much. Yeah, it's a good start. It's a good start. You can call me old fashioned. You can call me a dinosaur. You can call me whatever you want. you should be able to go out and provide for your family. Now, if your wife's got a great gig and she makes a bunch of money, that's awesome. Good for her. No big deal. That doesn't absolve you of your responsibility to bust your ass and make that life work well. Maybe you do that at home. Maybe there's different ways to do it, but sitting around doing nothing, not attractive. Not what women are attracted to. They want someone with some initiative. And that initiative can manifest itself in a lot of different ways, but you should have something that's important to you that you go after, that you should have drive. You should have some grit to you. That's what women are looking for, not a gamer that sits around scratching themselves and doesn't have any plan to make themselves a better person. So yeah, super important. Kindness, not niceness, kindness, because this gets back to like the being kind of a beta, a simp, whatever you want to call it. So that's being nice. You don't want to be nice to the point that you get taken advantage of or walked over. Sometimes you're going to stand up for yourself and stand up for the people that you care about. But being kind to people. How about not being a jerk to the wait staff when you go out to a restaurant? How about saying please and thank you? How about helping someone with a package, or when they're struggling on the street? How about giving up your seat on a bus when there's a woman or an old lady standing while you're sitting? Those are kindness. Those are kind gestures, not nice gestures. So women are looking for someone to be kind. You want to be kind to them too. Like, it's everyone has tough stuff in their life. Women process that stuff differently in general, and your job as a man is to help them process that stuff in a way that's useful, and is supportive and helps them kind of get to a better spot. So think about being kind, not being nice. Have good hygiene. Like, I can't believe I have to say that, but we do have to say that. Like, take a shower every day, comb your hair, brush your teeth. It's okay to grow a beard. It's okay to grow facial hair, but don't do the weirdo handlebar mustaches or the ZZ Top beards. Look, every once in a while that'll work, but you're going to attract a certain type. And if that's your type, good for you. Go do it. But in general, that's not attractive to women. They're not into that. They don't want it. It's not something that works for them. Um, so those are all things that you should think about when you're out trying to find a spouse, or trying to find a partner, or trying to find someone to spend time with. Women in general want those things. They want a guy that's going to show confidence, that's good to them, that respects them, but has a backbone and can provide, and can protect, and can make sure that her environment is safe and she feels cared about and respected and taken care of. Like, it's not that complicated. That's what they want. So like, if you want a woman, those are things that you should look at and ask yourself, am I doing a good job of this or not? And if you're not, put a plan together to change those things. And then there's just some basic stuff, right? Like, open doors. Like, it's not that hard. Yes, she's perfectly capable of opening her door. Totally got it. It's a show of respect. It's not that hard. Open the door. Open the car door. Before you go get in on your side, go open her car door. Let her get into the car, and then shut the door. Not that hard to do. Walk on the side of the sidewalk closest to the street, or if you see an issue, let's say you see a sketchy guy up ahead and you move yourself in between her and the guy as you walk by. A little thing that shows a lot of respect. Lift heavy things, open jars that are hard for to open. I know that sounds stupid. I'm telling you, it makes a huge difference. And the last one I'll tell you is help around the house a little bit. Like, got it. Even like in our relationship, my wife has always been a stay-at-home mom. That doesn't mean I don't do some laundry. That doesn't mean I don't do some dishes. Does she do the vast majority of it? Sure, because her job is to run our house. But running our house is not a maid. So you help create some of those issues, the messes, the dirty clothes, all that stuff. You can help do some of that stuff too. It doesn't need to be a lot, but you should do it to show that you acknowledge that it's necessary, that you appreciate what she does, and that you're willing to help, that you're willing to pull some of your weight on that stuff. Again, like, in our relationship, I make all the money. That's just how we set it up at the beginning. It's not right or wrong. But I can tell you that ours is equal. It's always gone into one pot. It's always been our money to spend. It's not mine. It's not hers. It's ours. But being respectful on these little things day to day. If she's cold, get her a blanket. Not that hard to figure out. So those are the kind of things that you should do. So, kind of wrapping it up. I know that we like to think that things have changed and we're super progressive and blah, blah, blah. But at our core, we're not much different than we have been for the hundreds and hundreds of years we've been around. Men like certain things in general. Women like certain things in general. And if you understand what women are looking for and you focus on what women are looking for, you're going to vastly increase the amount of potential partners that you have, and you'll be wildly successful. So put down the phone, get off the gaming website, stop DMing and sending eggplant emojis to women, stop swiping right on Tinder and doing what you think are cool pickup lines. Get out and start talking to real women, be a real guy, show some backbone, be a leader, have some confidence, have a sense of humor, um, control the situation. If you ask her out for a date, plan the date. Here's what we're going to do. I'd like to pick you up at 8, and then we're going here, here, and here. That's what the plan is. Let's go. I'm really looking forward to it. Like, you do stuff like that, you're going to have plenty of success. So, yeah, that's it, guys. Not that hard. Hopefully, you find some value in this and you find some things that you can go out and apply to your everyday life. And, I hope you wind up with someone that you make happy and that they make you happy. And that's what life is all about. Life is all about experiences and relationships. And you're missing out if you're not pursuing both of those things. So don't forget to head over to our website, saltygingertalk.com. We got all our content on there. We got links to all of our social media sites on there. You can subscribe to our newsletter there. And we appreciate you coming back, and we look forward to talking to you next time, guys. Have a great week.